The age-old question with Jordan De Goey and Collingwood fandom has been, is De Goey a midfielder? Is he a forward? Or is he a hybrid? And if so, what type of split should we expect for De Goey if he does play mid and forward, which he typically does? In De Goey's career to date, he has played only more than 20 games once, which was the 2018 season where he played permanent forward, and that was the year we made the grand final, and he collected 50 coaches votes, which is a top three in his career, if not second best year when it comes to career coach return. Probing the first debate with De Goey is his powerful body built for midfield in an 80-20 capacity, 80% midfield, 20% forward? That's the question. In the last two seasons, De Goey has attended 80% of Collingwood centre bounces, and we see what happens this year. Could have the load, that heavy midfield load over the last 2 years, along with a shorter preseason after the premiership year, be part of the reason as to why he was only able to achieve 13 games this year? He carried a groin injury for most of those games, so he was never truly fully healthy, and ultimately succumbed to that hamstring injury against Carlton. So, look, De Goey's never been a prolific ball winner. His best return was 23 disposals a game last year, and I feel like it is a far cry to expect De Goey to average more than 25 touches. He's just not that type of player. We don't need him to be that type of player. We don't need him to show up every week. We know what he's good for. We saw what he did against West Coast in that grand final. We've seen him in prelim finals against GWS. He's done it all. He's a finals-made player. So I was a big sucker for believing De Goey could be this 25, 30 touches a game, Brownlow contention. And I've finally accepted and learned this year that he doesn't have to be that guy and isn't that guy. That's what I think. So my question now, leading into next year, is could and should De Goey be a 50-50 split type of player for the home and away season? And then we can consider what he does in the final series. With Perriman coming in to the side, Ed Allen potentially breaking out, perhaps even Jack Crisp returns to a more heavier midfield role. We saw what he did in that middle part of the year when he was asked to play 70% midfield time when we had our inside mids out. Pendlebury, Mitchell, De Goey, so on and so forth. He was outstanding. And then he was filtered out to the half-forward line on the wing at times and didn't have the same impact. He essentially sacrificed his form and his dominance in the midfield to allow other players to come in. And that's what team players does. And Crisp is a team player personified. De Goey's best game this year was where he was a genuine forward against Adelaide. I think it was round 10. Had 0% centre bounce attendances. He did get involved in stoppages in the forward half, but never actually attended the centre bounce. He collected 26 touches, kicked 2 goals, kicked the winning goal in a clutch moment late in the game where we needed him. And he's that type of guy. That's what we want. So I'm thinking, if De Goey can have that type of impact there, why not keep him there? Well, when we have Nick Dacos, we have Perryman potentially rolling through. Does Josh Dacos get the roll of a dice and play more midfield time next year? He's been given chances at given times, but has predominantly played on the wing and more recently off the half back line. And as I mentioned, in 2018, he collected 51 coaches' votes as a genuine forward, kicked 48 goals. So maybe I want to see that next year. Would you guys be open to that idea? We get to save his body, get into the finals, and then we can explore heavy midfield time if needed in that final series next year, given we make it. But I have great confidence after winning 4 of our last 5 games last season, beating the Premiers twice, once at the Gabba, once at the G. We could have and should have beaten Sydney and dismantled Melbourne along the way as well late in that year. I'm sure Collingwood and Fly and everyone else in between are heavily considering what to do and how to manage and nurture Goey through next year, because he is our break glass in case of emergency player, whether he needs to go into the midfield and set things right, kick goals going forward. He has this aura. You know what he did in that last play, kicking that goal that put us in front after Charlie Cameron kicked that goal in that grand final. He's got that in him. So it's just a matter of getting him to the finish line, in my opinion. When he makes it to the final series, you know what you're going to get from him. And I think we've got enough of a large sample size to reflect upon, having played 10 years in AFL now. We know what he's capable of, what his body can endure, and I think we need to get this right. This will be heavily looked into. Strength and conditioning side, high performance, physios, they have a big role in this next year. And we need to get this right to ensure Collingwood have the best opportunity to bounce back and have a crack at that flag once again in 2025. What do you guys think about this? Do you think I'm onto something here? I know we've discussed this in the comment section, and a lot of these title ideas and conversations are actually built on your conceptions in the comment section. I get ideas from you guys. So while I'm speaking on my own, I'm speaking on the behalf of thoughts that have already been planted in the comment section. So let me know what you think. Go Pies.